What is up, guys? 70 Savage here. Today we have a very exciting video. We are going over the top 10 questions that you guys have asked me about the van. If you guys are new to the channel, we have been converting this Sprinter van right here into a full-on tiny home and documenting the entire process along the way. So everything that you see in this van during this video, there's probably a video on how to actually make it, and that includes the floor, the wall paneling, the magnetic ceiling, the solar panels, the electrical system, blah, 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 all the stuff in the van. There's a video on it in the channel. Go ahead and check that out if you are interested. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright guys, so before we dive into answering all of these great questions that you asked, I want to give a brief update of where we're at with the van. I'm still working on the shower. It's actually not completely done yet. I've tried a couple of different methods for the shower curtain, and I have a final solution planned. It's just not done yet. So when that is done, I will be making a video and I will be posting that on the channel, so stay tuned for that. After that video is done, we will be 100% complete with the entire van build and off to one of the most exciting videos on this channel thus far, and that is the van tour. So if you are looking forward to that as much as I am and you are not subscribed yet, definitely slap that subscribe button below, slap that notifications bell, and you will get notified when the van tour drops. So that brings me to the most pressing topic currently, obviously COVID-19. International crisis. It's probably one of the craziest things that's happened in my lifetime on this planet. I don't know about you guys. I hope that all of you out there in the Savage fam are safe and healthy. It's really important to me that all you guys are quarantining, sheltering in place. I think that's the best possible thing that we can be doing right now to prevent this virus from spreading. The way that COVID-19 is affecting me and obviously this channel is that I have not been traveling, I have not been making vlogs, and I've been making way less content on both YouTube and Instagram, as you guys probably know. Hope you guys understand that. Part of it is because there's just not a lot of content to make. If I'm like not traveling, if I'm not out there using the van or building the van, it's like, what can I post about? So this is my attempt to try and fill that gap. All right, so question numero uno. What things do I like about the van and what things would I have done differently looking back? Now, this is a huge question. I could probably make an entire video just on this one question, but let me try and answer this in a brief kind of way. So I did live in the van for 3 weeks straight before this quarantine started, which gave me a little bit of extra information on this topic. And in general, I'm really, really happy with how the van turned out. It fits my needs perfectly. Well, not perfectly, but really, really well. A lot of the things that I like about the van is that I have a pretty beefy electrical system. My day consists of waking up, being in meetings all day on my laptop, then going to the gym, coming back, playing video games for most of the night. So I use a lot of electricity in general, just being on the computer. I mean, like gaming laptops take a lot of power. Works with a microwave. I can cook all my meals in here. Definitely recommend if you are somebody who spends a lot of time around technology to have a beefy electrical system. The water and the plumbing is also really nice and easy. There's a ton of water in that 30-gallon water tank. Lasts about 2 weeks or so, depending on how much water I'm using, obviously, but that's kind of the rough amount of time. Everything in here is just built really solidly. I don't feel like I'm tiptoeing around avoiding breaking things. I'm like bumping into stuff. I'm kind of big and clumsy, so I'm always bumping into things, including like the wall panels, which are just 1/8" birch attached with Velcro, which there's questions about, and I'll get into that later. Everything just feels very durable. As far as things that I don't like, I spent a lot of time thinking about this because I get asked a lot, and I kind of find myself forcing myself to think about things that I don't like, even though I don't really not like them. Now that's probably the most confusing sentence of all time. But what I'm trying to say is I like most of the things in here. I think if I had to find something to improve, it would be an even beefier electrical system. I think more solar panels or less need to start the car to charge the batteries, that would be perfect. All right, question number 2. Probably the most asked question about the build itself has to do with the Velcro on the walls and the magnets on the ceiling. Two kind of unconventional ways of building things in a van. If you didn't see the videos, the wall panels are all attached with 100% Velcro. It's actually not Velcro, it's called 3M Dual Lock. It's kind of like sophisticated Velcro. It's way, way stronger than normal Velcro. That's the only thing that's holding up all of these wall panels in place. The wall panels are only made with 1/8" Baltic birch, so they are very light, but the Velcro is the only thing that holds them up. Also, the ceiling, it's made out of 1/4-inch cedar, so similarly lightweight. It is held up by nothing but magnets. I glued some magnets to the back, and they simply stick to the ribs that are already built into the van, the metal ribs in the ceiling. There are 2 separate videos going into major details on both of those parts of the build, so definitely check those out if you haven't seen them yet. The question, however, is, are they holding up? Are both of those things that you would do in the future? Are they rattling? Both of these methods have worked flawlessly thus far. None of the 3M dual lock has come off, and none of the magnets have come off either. The ceiling has not fallen down. There is no rattling whatsoever. And yes, I have driven over some very, very bumpy roads. You can see that, I think, in part 2 of the first travel vlog that I did. All right, question number 3. How do I charge my batteries besides solar? Obviously, my biggest complaint about the van was that the solar panels work well. There's 300 watts up there, but it's not well enough to cover 100% of my electrical needs throughout the day. I do have a DC to DC charger under the driver's seat. This is a 40 amp DC to DC charger. It's made by Renogy. Put a link to it in the description below. It works pretty dang well for what it is. So the way that it works is you hook one side up to your car battery and you hook the other side up to your house battery. When you start your ignition, the alternator charges the car battery, and you're pulling some of that power, 40 amps of that power, into your house battery system. It works pretty well. That being said, it's only 40 amps. So for me, on average, I use about 1.5 kilowatt hours of power a day, and my solar panels on top are only 300 watts. So on a really, really good day, I probably get about 1 kilowatt hour of power out of the solar panels, which leaves about 500 watt hours of power that need to be generated by that battery. Doing some quick math there, that is about a little over 1 hour that I have to leave my car running to make up for that difference. And that is on a really good solar day. If it's cloudy outside, I'm getting almost nothing from my solar panels, and I have to run this for about 3 hours. That's a really long time to leave your car running every day. The nice part about the DC to DC charger is it's a really, really safe way to charge your battery. It's within factory recommendation to be pulling only 40 amps from your car battery. Some people use a relay or other charging mechanisms that pull upwards of 100 amps, and that works. I've seen that work very well, but it's way out of the specification that Mercedes-Benz recommends for pulling from your house battery. Question number 4, where do you poop? There are lots of different options for toilets in vans, toilets in RVs, and I've chosen one that's actually a bit less popular than a lot of the other options. The toilet that I have is called a dry flush toilet. It's kind of hard to explain. Let me just show you guys how it works. All right, so to access my toilet, I just lift off this panel of my bench seat. It exposes the toilet, and to simulate the old bathroom experience here, I'm gonna pull out my trusty kitty litter. I'm gonna open the toilet. I'm gonna simulate doing the business by pouring some kitty litter in there. After the business is done, all I do is I press this button right here, which causes the toilet to do a suction action. And then it twists it all up. And it sucks it back down. As you can see, there is nothing left in here from the simulation that we just did. And that's usually how it ends up working when you do it for real. So you can use that dry flush toilet about 12 times, at which point the cartridge is used up, pulls up into its own little trash bag. You don't have to touch anything dirty, any nasty, there's no smell. And you take that trash bag and you throw it in the trash, and you just replace it with a new cartridge. This is obviously very convenient compared to some of the alternate methods where you have to shovel your own feces out of the bucket once a month when it's done composting. And the really nice part about this is that there's no plumbing at all. It's 100% self-contained. So for me, this solution has worked really, really well. Question number 5. Does the diesel heater that you installed, it is an S-Bar S2D2 heater. There's an entire video on it on my channel. Does that keep up with cold climates? I have used it down to about single digits Fahrenheit at night, and it kept it at an easy 70 degrees in here. So for the uses that I've done so far, almost 0 degrees Fahrenheit, it's been perfect. I suspect that it would work quite a bit lower than that, but I can't guarantee it. I haven't used it yet. Hopefully in the future I get to test it out in some super cold environments. It's ridiculously powerful, and it's one of the best features in the van. Question number 6. What is the right way to build cabinets out of wood? As you might have seen, there's a few different videos on the channel about the different cabinets that I built. There's one on the kitchen galley unit, there's one on the bench seat, and there's one on the upper cabinets up here. And I used slightly different methods of cabinet building for all 3 of these. I've learned a lot between when I started my van and finishing these cabinets, and I can say with confidence that the best way to build cabinets out of wood is with glue and nails. So what you want to do is you want to put wood glue between any 2 wood surfaces, and then you want to use brad nails to attach the 2 surfaces. If you use those 2 things to build your cabinets, there's a lot of leeway for other aspects of the cabinet build. The most important thing is that you use glue and nails. Alrighty, question number 7. Do you have any condensation issues in the van? You might have seen my first vlog where there were indeed some condensation issues in the factory headliner. Right above the factory headliner, it was dripping out right here. Some people wonder, okay, do you have condensation issues in the rest of the van and the part that you built in the conversion? I actually haven't had any condensation issues at all. There has been 0 dripping, 0 moisture that I can see on the walls or see anywhere in the conversion part of the van. I also seem to have fixed the condensation issues above the factory headliner by just adding more insulation in there. I essentially just stuffed a bunch of insulation above the little unit, and that resolved all the issues. I did not use a vapor barrier between my wall paneling and walls, which I do think is a good idea if you're going that route. I haven't gone that route, and I don't have the need to go that route. There just isn't condensation issues without the vapor barrier. So for now, I'm not thinking about adding one. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I think it's actually a pretty good idea if you want to add a vapor barrier, but that's my answer. Question number 8. Did I have any experience building stuff before I built this van? The most sophisticated thing that I had built before this van was a piece of IKEA furniture. I really had no idea what I was getting into and learned pretty much 100% of this along the way. Due to not knowing what the heck I was doing when I got into this, I did make a ton of mistakes. It's gonna cost you a lot more money just because you made mistakes and you're gonna have to redo things. In my perspective, it's just a really cheap way of getting a construction degree, if that's even a thing. It's also not easy. I don't want to oversimplify the whole process. I mean, hopefully my videos have helped teach you guys how to build your own van, and I think you should definitely have the confidence to go in building your own van even if you have no idea what you're doing. That being said, it's going to be stressful. There's going to be times when you feel like you're just completely stuck and you're never going to figure it out. That's just reality. But let me tell you, you will figure them out. If you keep being persistent, you're going to get through those times and you're going to figure it out. You're going to end up with an awesome van that you created all on your own. So highly recommend that you do it, but be prepared for what you're getting into. Question number 9. Do you have a home base? So the answer to that question is actually kind of funny. I was originally intending to build this van and just live in it full time. Have this be my permanent residence, drive around, live in campgrounds, live in RV parks. And after living in the van for a couple months on and off, and then doing a full 3-week stint where I lived in the van exclusively, that's not the right option for me personally. I do enjoy having a home base. I love taking trips in the van. I even love taking extended trips in the van. I'd be happy to do another 3-week stint, but with the nature of my job, I just spend way too much time indoors, and I do feel a little bit cooped up in here for it to be a permanent residence where I have nowhere else to go. For some people, I think it's totally doable to live in the van full time. I think that if I didn't spend all of my time on the computer in meetings and then play video games at night, and I wasn't in the van for 20 plus hours a day, I would totally be down to live in this full time, but my job just doesn't really support that. So if your job does, if you have that time to kind of go outside and experience the places that you're at, then you can definitely live in your van full time. I would be happy to live in here full time if I could, and I might in the future. You never know. Question number 10. Where is my next trip going to be? My dad really wants to go on a trip with me in the van. He's been here, see me suffer through this entire van build and come out with something that is pretty cool. So he wants to go on a trip with me. We're thinking about going to Zion and doing like a week-long trip. I've heard it's really nice out there. I've heard that's one of the coolest national parks in the US. That being said, I'm not planning going on anywhere during quarantine. It's just not a good idea to be going to campgrounds. I don't even know if most campgrounds are open, to be honest. I know a lot of the national parks and state parks are completely closed, so you have to make sure that they have dispersed camping, etc., etc. In general, I just don't think it's a good idea to be going out right now. I think it's a good idea for the better of humanity to stay inside, stay isolated. And there we have it. Those are the top 10 questions that you guys have asked me. If I missed a question that you have, put that in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer that. I do read every single comment that gets posted to this channel, and I'm gonna try and get to as many of those as I possibly can. Also, I am looking for more ideas of videos to make while we are in this quarantine, content that I can do without needing to leave my home base here. So if you guys have ideas for that, then I am very open to hearing them. I want to make more content, but it's very challenging to find things to make content with. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you are not already a subscriber, definitely slap that subscribe button below. If you liked the video, slap that like button below. I hope that all of you guys are staying safe out there. I hope that all you guys are healthy, and I will see you guys next time.